Hello and welcome to your final initiative of the United Nations Community Service Project. For this term, we have picked SDG 11 or Sustainable Cities and Communities as a theme. You would have received two tools like this. So, this is one, which is an A3 sheet, and you would have also received a smaller A4 sheet folded that looks like this. Let's spend a couple of minutes on what exactly this project is about. According to the United Nations, by 2050, almost 7 billion people will be living in cities, which is a very, very alarmingly large number. And that also means increasingly majority of our planet Earth is becoming cities. So cities are growing. The problem with that is that cities use up a lot of energy, a lot of resources, and not all of these resources that we use are renewable. So a lot of the resources that cities do use are non-renewable in nature, which makes it very, very difficult and puts a stress on planet Earth. But when we started working on this idea, we actually polled a couple of children to understand their concept or what is their understanding of sustainability and sustainable cities. It turns out that not all of them are aware or have a good grasp of what exactly sustainability and also what is a sustainable city, and same goes for us as adults as well. So we thought we would first want to educate them about what exactly is this whole concept about, and then help them guide down a path where they will be able to think and arrive at ideas. So the first page over here is all about what exactly is sustainability all about, and what is sustainable city, and what are the different tenets of a sustainable city. So for instance, we very clearly talk to children about the difference between renewable and non-renewable sources of energy, which is the core of what sustainability is all about. That gets covered under this paragraph called what is sustainable, followed by what is sustainable city, which is how does a city really use a lot of this energy, and why is that a problem, an increasingly big problem. We also have 5 tenets of a sustainable city. That is, in an ideal world, if you were to live in a sustainable city, what does that really look like? Starting from something as clean energy, which is what are the different kinds of clean energy and how do you really use them. It's also important to put all of these ideas into execution, followed by green buildings. So buildings can be green too, so what does that really mean? And better transport, making better choices such as buying electric vehicles, using public transport more often, and the best mode, which is cycle. So if we really did have the space, wouldn't we want to cycle everywhere? Waste management. Why are we asked to separate dry waste and wet waste? What does that really have to do with anything about energy? So that gets covered. And lastly, city farming. Cities do have pockets of green spaces. So how do you really utilize that green space to make sure that you are growing something that you can eat, which is all about sustainability? Can a city really produce enough to help us, to feed us? So that gets covered on this page. Following that, on the back, we have asked them to put together a project. So this entire space is a project guide. What we're asking them to do is to assume you have complete power over your city, whichever city you live in, and you are allowed to make any changes you want, right from policy changes to asking people to segregate dry waste and wet waste, to even knowing that here are the different gardens and we are going to be creating green pockets in all of these gardens. So you have a complete hold over your thoughts and your ideas. So if you were given all of that access, what would you really do? So to make sure that your city becomes sustainable. So here are a couple of ideas also that we have laid out as project guides. So for instance, how will you encourage builders and architects in the city to use environmentally free materials for their buildings? Following that is sustainable cities have found a way to reduce pollution, which is by using electric vehicles. So how will you motivate people to buy electric vehicles and use more of them? How are you going to motivate people to definitely segregate dry waste, wet waste, and what happens to that waste after that? It's not just about segregation, but what really happens after that. How do you come up with more sustainable modes of transport? So we've asked those questions. We would love it if children are given the free space and the mind space to just come up with their own ideas on what they really, really want to do. So that will give them all the benefit in putting together a project from scratch, and there is absolutely no restriction on the modality. They are allowed to just present something, read out what they have written, or even put together a PowerPoint presentation, make a chart, whatever they want is absolutely fine. We're just looking for interesting ideas in which they could make their own city sustainable. So, more points for children who actually are able to pinpoint problems that the city is facing and then find ways to solve them. So that's the first part in building this project. Anyway, we've also added a little piece here, which is a poster that is there in the world of MysticLand that says "Attention Mysticals and Mystic Beasts." This is an initiative that is being followed in MysticLand, where every Saturday the Mysticals and Mystic Beasts gather together, and they do a green walk around their neighborhood where they actually collect garbage that is being strewn around. So this is just to give them a picture that there are initiatives that you can ask residents of your city to also contribute and do like this. So this is for the older children, which is grades 3 to 4 5. For the younger children, this is a little difficult concept to understand. So we're talking about grades 1 and 2. So what we wanted to do was deep dive into waste management, focus just on that. And we wanted them to involve their parents and do a quick research project, quick poll. So we have asked, so here at the beginning, we have talked about sustainable city and gone in depth about waste management. We have asked 5 questions. So this question 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Their job is to ask their parents this question, and the answers are here. They have to mark the right answer. So for instance, the first question is, do you separate your dry waste and wet waste? So if the parent answers often or always, they color the right box. Second question, do you know and follow the waste management rules of your community and your neighborhood? So answers here, yes, no, I'm confused, tell me more. So whatever answer the parent gives, they'll have to color it. And following that, there is a paragraph that they need to read out to educate their parents, because most of us are also not very aware of what we do. While we segregate dry waste and wet waste, we really don't know what happens to it after that. So this is an opportunity for the child to pair up with the parent and find out what exactly is happening to this dry waste, wet waste, and also why should they really segregate it. So the paragraph has to be read out by the child to the parent, so that the parent is also aware of why you should do whatever you are asked to do. And we also wanted to use this project to help children collect data. So data collection is important, is a very, very important skill, especially starting from grade 1 onwards. Let's get them started early. And number 2, also data representation. So we wanted to give them little charts where, as they color, like a little pie chart, as they color bar graph, they know that these are ways in which you can represent data, which also comes in very handy for them later on in other subjects as they are putting together projects. They know that this is one way in which you can represent whatever research they have done. Right? So here you have question number 4 and 5, which is, do you know how to throw away sharp objects like razors and all? Not all of us know how to do that. And do you know how to throw away your milk bags or take out containers? Not all of us rinse it out. So that is important. So that gets covered over here. So we have given these 2 projects out to all children now, mainly because the winter holidays are coming. And if they were to take the time to do this over the winter holidays, it will be really, really good. That's it. So this is something that they should ideally be doing too. At the end of this project, they will get to know what is sustainability, what is sustainable city, and be in a position to judge if certain actions that all of us as individuals in the city are doing, is that sustainable or not. Thank you very much, and please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, any queries on how to execute this project. Thank you.